Scroll down. Hey again. I'm gonna teach you your second tendency because I'm assuming you've already seen my first video on variables and stuff and some basic data types, which I hope you found interesting. This time, using the same file again, we're gonna open up Visual Studios. We're gonna get right into it. So, as with last time, we're gonna use the standard library. So it's just STIO like that. And make sure when you're doing this, because I got like autofill on, but like you might not have this, that you put the standard library like this within two triangle brackets. And same as last time, we're gonna have to create our main function. And I'm just emphasizing this because this is important. And then boom, main function. This is what's gonna run when our program starts. Um, and I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but this is kind of like not a super important thing, but sometimes in people's main functions, you'll see people put void, and this is completely fine. This is just like a preference thing. I normally actually do this, but when you put void, it's the same as putting nothing. It's just clarifies it further. And yeah, so I'm gonna introduce two more things because last time when I was introducing variables, I neglected to mention another important concept called constants. So say if you want a variable that never changes, that's called a constant. And it's just a prefix you can add onto your program. So if you go constant and then you write int, or char, or double, or float, or whatever you might want. So we're just going to call this constant int 15. Oh, sorry, constant int, we'll call it vol1 equals 20. Yeah. I also promised we're going to use a little bit more of the standard library today, which you might find interesting. I'm not going to use a ton, just a bit. So we're going to do that if statements and constants. So we got a one constant here. This is a pretty helpful one. It's, you know, like if we tried to add something to it, nothing would happen. It would stay as that 20. But we can add that to something else. And this is pretty handy if you want, say, a consistent variable for your whole program. And sometimes it's handy because sometimes you don't want to change that value. Um, and it's handy, yeah, like I said. So yeah, I also said I was going to mention some multiplication, but thinking on it, it's not really that complicated. I showed you how to add last time, and it's basically the same syntax. Oh, it is the same syntax. Int vol2 equals 5. So I'll show you. So say if you wanted to multiply vol2, you could either do it like this and put a multiplication sign or star sign and go vol2 times equals vol1. And this is an example. You can use the constant and multiply the vol2 variable. So there you go. That's one way to do it. You can also go vol2 equals vol2 times vol1. And as you can see, it's not as like it's a bit longer the way, a bit more bulky, but you know, it gets the job done. I like it. You can also divide the same way and subtract the same way. It's all the same kind of gist. So we're gonna get into if statements last. I want to show you two cool kind of functions because I showed you printf last time, and puts is another good one. So essentially, it just takes a string, and we haven't gotten to strings, so I'm just gonna show you to do it this way. It basically you can write whatever string or put whatever string you want in here. And string's just a characters, a group of characters together, so like a word essentially. So let's just go, hey, welcome one and all, because why not? It's fun. The next part about puts, and don't forget your little semicolon at the end. Next part about puts is essentially it will print to the top line. I don't even want to write this, so I'll just explain it verbally. So it prints to the current line and then creates a new space. And I will show you what I mean. So printf does not do this. It does not do that work for you. I'm also going to show you here how the multiplication is working, like I showed you last time, just to do a bit more clarifying. So just go vol2 equals, and then we're gonna go, it's an int, so it's control D, and we're gonna go vol2. Cool, right? So we got that. And I'm gonna show you something now, and I actually got this to work this time, which is nice. I don't have to. I don't know why it does that for me. Come on, just one. Cancel. It's so weird because this literally just was working. Oh well, okay, we'll just do this then. Doesn't take any longer. We gotta make our executable. So GCC lesson 2.0, and then we'll make our a.x. So looking at this, we're gonna go, oh hey, welcome one and all, vol2 100, and it's like, that's cool. So this one made a space as I said it did, but this one just all pointed to one line, which makes sense. It points to the next line. But what happens if I get this and I paste it, right? If I paste the same line, do you think it's gonna go to a new line? Well, we'll see. Let's try it. Let's go GCC lesson 2 a.x. And interestingly, I didn't save it. Okay, let's try that again. So if you look here, you notice that vol2 was pointed on the same row. Like the same thing was pointed twice in the same row, and you might be wondering why that's the case, because this just points to the same line. It doesn't do anything else. It just points to one line and does not make a new space. You might be asking, oh, how do we make a new space? Well, it's as simple as going like that. That's all it is. Pretty simple. That just means new line. So if we compile, vol2, vol2. And you can do this as many times as you want. You can go Control N, Control N, Control N, Control N. Yeah, and then let's run this again. Beautiful, see a bunch of spaces. Okay, so that's printf and puts. That's all you really need to know. It's pretty handy. Just make sure your data type matches up with whatever you put in the quotes, and you're good. So the next one I want to mention is an interesting one. So it's called scanf, and it's handy. It's pretty handy, I would say. This is very good for terminal stuff. So what we got here is we got the same kind of format as we have up here. And the way it works is you put the data type that you're going to be scanning for, and then you go down to the bottom here, or to the side, sorry, and you basically just type in what variable you want to save to. So let's just say we're going to save over top of vol2. So we're going to replace what vol2 equals with whatever we write to the screen. And let's try it. Let's compile this and see what happens. Cool. So you might notice the program did not end, right? And that's what we want. So if I type like that, the program ends. And you might not notice anything because nothing really happened. So I will prove to you that it actually did change stuff. Okay, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna copy and paste this again, and instead of vol2, actually I guess it is vol2 still because we're just copying over. So let's try this again, and I will show you what is happening here. So let's type in a number. Let's type in 1200 or whatever. It's skipping over the printf. Interesting. So sometimes this will happen, and the reason is because you need an address sign. Let's see if this fixes it. It might be this. So 12. There you go. So yeah, so make sure you put the address sign. The reason why you actually need this, and I forgot you have to put it because I don't know, I just forgot. But essentially, this just means you're saving this data to where this is stored, right? Because if you just put vol2, it's gonna get confused because you're not relating to the storage of you're trying to relate to the temporary kind of variable kind of thing, which I don't know if that's exactly the best way to explain it, but it is how it kind of works. And yeah, so you got your control D and oops, and yeah, so that prints that, and it's interesting. And The thing you want to be careful about with this, and we're gonna run this one more time. Well, maybe a couple. We'll see. We'll see how crazy we get. We're gonna put. Let's put. What happens if I put like 3 A's? Nothing, because the 100 stays the same as up here. And the reason for this, and I want to clarify as much as possible, 4 A's means nothing. It is not an integer. You can't save it. It's a string of letters, right? Now, this works with Charles too, right? And we can actually save it to a char. But, again, we should definitely create a char so this doesn't just do nothing. So char A, there we go. And we'll just put A here. Cool, cool, cool. And A, and a char. Guess I could have just put up new stuff, but whatever. Anyway, so, oops, I did not save it. I will compile it. Okay, let's compile this puppy. Lesson 2. Okay, A. And vol2 equals A. That's not. A equals A. Okay, so yeah, that is scanf in a nutshell. And say if you wanted to go like, comma, control D. You might be wondering what's happening here. I'm actually just gonna go. This is pointless. Control D, and we're gonna put vol2, and I'm just gonna let you see this because you might find this pretty interesting. I think. Don't know what I just did. Okay. GCC. There we go. So basically, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put letter, and then we're gonna put 12, and A100, and and see the issue is I forgot to put a thing. So see the 100 didn't change. Hang on. Vol2. Okay. So now that this is good, sorry about all the little mistakes. So A100 and A100. I guess it's not the best example. Hang on. Let's do one more because it was already 100 before. Let's go D, and then we'll put 70. And then see, changes D to 70, or vol2 to 70. And the reason why this works is it doesn't really matter how you separate them. It could be like 2 spaces, it could be like a bunch of nonsense. But all this means is essentially how you want to read the variables, how you want them to be spaced out as you're reading them, and how they, work. And yeah. So there you go. You got puts, printf, scanf, and yeah, handy ones. Those are the main ones I'm going to teach you because you can get pretty far using them. Pretty handy. And for right now, I think they're good. So, I think I'm actually going to end it here for now because I feel like I don't really want to get into if statements because that's a pretty separate thing from what we've been talking about today. Because like the multiplication and the standard rivalry and whatever, it's a bit outside of what we're talking about, and I think I'm just gonna go over that next time because I think it'd be better to have it all in one. Just have that as one video so you can look at that and understand if statements and switch statements without having this other stuff in the way. Because this is just another like little video to help explain like, okay, why are we like, how am I gonna print and read stuff from the terminal? And this is how. This is exactly what you want to do, what you need to do. Now there's other versions of these, like there's F puts and F printf, but I'm not gonna really talk about those because it's the same kind of thing, but they're just the safe version of these. These are like, you wouldn't really want to use them in in a professionally built program because you could have issues with the memory and stuff that I'm not going to really get into, but it's a thing. So thank you for listening. I'll get that if and switch statement video out pretty soon. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you.